All right, so in essence, what we have here is two different user interfaces. What you're going to see me do today is I'm going to shift from the agent interface and the admin interface. So technically, I have two browser tabs opened up. In this browser version of Chrome, it's the normal browser version, so it'll be the lighter color top bar. And then I have the admin version, and it'll be in black. So when I switch between the two, I'll make sure I note which um, portal I'm in so that you know which one is first focused on agents and which one is focused on admin. So the black is going to be focused on the admin, the white is going to be focused on the agents. Um, we're actually going to start off on the agent side of things today and transition into the. We're going to start off on the admin side and transition into the agents. Um, just an overview, what we decided to do, going with the theme of outdoor adventures. We wanted to be able to make the interface for logging in a very engaging one. So we have a set of images that will, transition throughout when you go and log on to the console. This one happens to be my favorite. It's very inviting, but essentially, you guys will be logging in. Directly from agents.outdooradventuresinc.com. When you come here, you'll automatically land on this login screen. And for agents and admins, you guys will log in on the same screen. But based on your roles, you'll be able to. Um, I'm recording. All right, based on the roles, you'll be able to go to the right side of the application. So I am going to go to Salesforce and log in as the admin user that we have. And directly, if you're not logged into Salesforce and you go to log in here, it'll log you into your account. The reason I went to it separately is because we've been logging in and logging out so many accounts. I just wanted to make sure I was in the right account when I logged in. So if you click on this login button, it will actually direct you to Salesforce to log you in. So I'm going to do that now. And if you're already logged into Salesforce, it'll drop you directly into the interface. So click on the login and I'm redirected. So from the admin side, you get this get started screen where you can kind of go and directly into getting started. This is the first release of the application. From the admin side, there's going to be additional tools and reports and analytics that are going to be added. But for now, this is where the admin side is going to get. So we have manage agents. So the manage agent screen will allow you to add agents to the application. Manage numbers. Manage numbers will be the number pool that will be assigned for all of the different prospects that you guys call. And then we also have call flows. There's only one predefined call flow for this release of the portal. But we've been talking with Adam and Andrew about making some dynamic call flows so that you guys can set that flow up as you need. So I'm going to stop right here and ask if you guys have any questions up until this particular point. And I'll take silence as golden.
Yeah, we're good. Thank
All
you.
right, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with agents. We have a couple different ways of navigating through the admin portal. So you can start off by clicking the buttons here for these large kind of like get started prompts. But you also have the side dashboard where you can go to the navigation. So right now, what we're showing in this release is you have your home, which is the screen that you see now. Secondly, you have call flows. So this is where you'll direct for inbound calls. You have your managed agents, and you also have your numbers. And for the admins, they have their settings. So if I go to my settings, it just tells me a little bit of information about myself. So it's my name. I'm bar plus admin. It's an interesting name for myself. Has a little bit of information about the company and address. So it's really just the information that comes from Salesforce. Nothing special here. Clicking the edit button, you can edit your information. This is one of the great benefits of the new platform is that you don't have to go to Salesforce at all as an agent. Admins will have to go for different reasons, but you can make direct changes inside of the platform versus having to do this in Salesforce. And we'll show you this on the agent side when we get into the prospects. So that is your account settings from the agent side. I'm from the admin side. I'm going to start off with the agents. Right now, we actually have our agents logged in. All right. So here on this agent screen, you see a couple different things. One, you see a list of current agents that are already in the application. So here is my admin user. This is my rep. So I'm rep. This is another rep who happens to be my sister. And then this is Tahira, who happens to be our PM here. So this general overview just gives a good view for the admins of what's really going on. So in perspective, it gives you the phone number if it's assigned to an agent. Admins will not have phone numbers since they are not making calls. It gives you their status, so it shows you that they're online, offline, at lunch, and whatnot. You guys should be at lunch, but you're with us now. Their role, if they have any open voicemails, in their idle time. So their idle time is tracked basically by if you're doing anything other if you're available. So if you're at lunch, this will not be tracked. If you're on a call, this won't be tracked as idle time. So anytime you're sitting in available status, this will be showing, and as you can see, it's tracking and moving up. In addition, you see that these agents or these admins are clickable. So you can actually click on each one of these individual agents, admins, or reps, and you can see their information here. I'm actually in Fuji Pacific right now for some reason. Same thing here. You have the ability to, from an admin side, to edit and delete these particular agents from the application. This delete only deletes them from the Outdoor Adventures call center app, not from Salesforce. I can edit my user here the same way I did my admin settings. So I have my name, my title, company. So I can go ahead and change some of this stuff. Let's see. I can change my time zone. So we're pulling everything from Salesforce. So everything that you can do, I want to be on Malaysia or Philippines. That might be a good place to go right now. And I can save this information, and this information will be saved in Salesforce. So again, it's directly integrated to Salesforce in that way. In addition, we also have links on prospects and agents and reps where you can go visit them in Salesforce. So I'm actually going to click on this, go visit in Salesforce. It opens up in Salesforce on this particular rep. And as you go down, you can see more information about this particular rep. And let me actually change something that you guys can see change in this information. So let's see, change name here. So I'm going to save that. As you can see, it updated my name in the title as well. I'm going to go to Salesforce. Salesforce has updated my name as well. So direct correlation in between the two, seamless, fun, and fast. All right. Now I'm going to go back to the Manage Agent screen. There's another little piece to this Manage Agent screen. On the side, there are this little graph. So each day, there's a particular activity for each particular rep. So for today, my activity for the Lantry Bar rep, I've made one outbound call and I have 3 voicemails. Right now, I don't have any call activity, but then I also have set disposition. So as we go through and do demos, we're going to show you guys when we set dispositions for the day, it'll count all the different dispositions for us. Now, this is dynamic, so if you guys add or delete any dispositions, this will come and populate automatically. So I'm going to stop there before I actually get into adding. I'm going to delete a rep and then I'm going to add one. Any questions so far? Silence is golden. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go and delete Tahira. So Tahira is already added to the application, but I want to walk you guys through what it's like to actually add a rep. So right now I'm going to go ahead and delete Tahira. As you see, Tahira is now gone from the application. And if she tries to log in, she won't be able to log in to the application. So from an administrative side, you guys can kind of track this on your side. But simply, you can search reps. You need to search them. So you have all of that good stuff there. But now I'm going to add a rep. So I want to add Tahira back. So I simply click on add agent. So from this perspective, you have all of the agents that are currently in Salesforce. So you get to see their name and their title. So you can scroll through all these agents and pick them individually, or, which is easier, you can just search and select. So I'm going to select Tahira. You can select multiple agents at once, and just basically click on the plus button. Let me go back one and show you something else. So for people like myself and Malika who are already in, it shows a circle dot that they've already been added, and you can't re-add it. So you won't be able to add multiple agents as an error. So I'm going to add Tahira. I'm going to go to my next step. This basically gives you a confirmation of all the people you selected. I only selected one person, so it's Tahira Brown. I'm going to click next. Here is where the admins will select a number for the agent, and it'll be based on location. So you can do something like Boston, Massachusetts, and it'll pull up your numbers. Or you can do something by area code, say 616. It pulls up all the 616 area codes. Now, what'll happen is you can select, from a set of area codes that you would like. So you have all of these you can preview. I'm going to select this 1616-0095. I'm going to select next. It shows Tahira Brown and what number I've selected for her. If I had multiple agents, I would have multiple numbers that would be shown. And all I have to do now is hit save. Now I've saved Tahira. Her number is 616. She's still shown available because we have one of our engineers logged in and her to our account. And then since we had Tahira in the platform, she still has her information from before. So if you ever add an agent and delete an agent, all the information that was there for that particular person will come back. So we thought that was a good feature for you guys to have there. So I'm going to stop there. Ask any questions.
It doesn't look like anyone has to.
All right, sounds good. Next, we want to go into phone numbers. And this is where your number pool comes from. So I went to the numbers menu item and came here. So numbers are fun. We get to use them in all of our calling to get up all our prospects. What we have here is a set of 17 numbers that we've been adding and testing as we've been building the application. We have the ability to search numbers. So this is a number. It tells you the city and state this area code is related to. Gives you information. You can paginate through. So there's a couple things you can do for pagination perspective. We have the default set at 10. So right now it's only 17. So if we can go to page 2, it gives you the second half. Andrew and Adam, I know you guys hadn't seen this. We decided to change this a little bit, change the pagination up to the top. Next, you can, if you have a large set of prospects or numbers, you can change the total numbers that you can view, and you can scroll up and down to view those numbers there. So pagination is going to work the same way for prospects, agents, whatever section of the application you're in. So that's pretty simple there. We give you the number, the location, and the date created. You can sort and filter basically in a ascending and descending on these screens. On the prospects, we've allowed you guys to do a little bit more by doing multi-column sorts. But next, I'm going to add a number. So you guys, what we've been doing is trying to add numbers that you guys use. Let's see. Let's go with a 517 number. So I'm going to search by area code 517 or 571, I'm sorry. And now I have a list of numbers I can select from. We can select one number, we can select 10 numbers, 20 numbers, all these numbers, I think it's 20 here, and create a number pool. So one of the big things about the number pool is that as a agent, you will be able to cycle through different numbers. So if I selected 3 numbers for this area code and you were to call a prospect that's in this area code, the first time you would call that prospect, you would call them with this 4197 number. The second time you would call, if they didn't answer the first time, would be with this 1084 number. And the third time would be with this 8915 number. And we'll go over that a little bit when we get into the agent side, but I'm just going to select one number, and we're adding numbers for you guys, so later on you don't have to actually repurchase these numbers. Next, it actually shows me a list of the numbers that I've selected. If it's multiple numbers, it'll be a fuller list than this. And then all we have to do is save. And that number has now been added to our number pool. As you see, the count has went up to 18, and we can search for this number. It's 517. I don't know what part of Virginia that is, but it's part of Virginia. We can also sort by location now, and we can find that it's actually by state. There we go. Yep. So we're gonna actually change this, Adam. Right now it's sorting by state, but we're gonna make it sort by city for the location. But any questions there? So we have our number added. All right, no questions there. So next we're going to go into call flow. So there's a couple things here under call flow that we want to talk through. We only have one predefined call flow for the application right now. We're going to be expanding that in later versions where it's going to be able to be dynamic. You guys can pick whatever flow that you want and different actions. But right now we have it set to we have a couple misspellings here. We'll fix that. But you start off with a dial in. So this will essentially be the 1-800 number that you guys currently have. It will dial the first agent that's selected in that call flow. So in this case, it's Tahira Brown. If Tahira does not answer, it will go to Malika Terry. If Malika Terry does not answer, it will go to Lantry Barr. And if Lantry does not answer, it will go to voicemail. Great thing about this is you guys get to set the timeout in between. Right now we have the default set at 30 seconds. You can change that easily by going to edit. You can also change which rep is first, second, or third. If there's multiple reps in here, there'll be a bigger list. So right now there's only 3 reps in here, which are our reps. So as you guys add reps, Adam will go ahead and add you guys to the application so you can start adding your reps and when you start playing around with it. One thing we have, the voicemail is non-selectable because we have a default voicemail that you guys have selected here. So that's the call flow that we have for you guys for the default. One other main thing that you guys should be aware of is this auto purchase. So this is where it becomes fun for you guys and not necessarily have to figure out what numbers have been purchased for any particular prospect that you're calling. So in this setup, if you have auto purchase of local numbers turned on, what happens as an agent, if you call a new prospect and let's call it, San Francisco, and you guys currently don't have San Francisco numbers in your number pool, as an agent, you don't have to worry because all you have to do is click to dial that prospect and it'll automatically purchase a number for San Francisco and dial out with that number. And we'll get into that a little bit later as we get into the agents. But The admins will have to have this feature turned on. We gave you guys the option to turn it on and off if you wanted to. So that's the auto purchase feature that you guys have there. And if you need to edit any of this, change the timeout, change the reps, you can save it. Also, one note is you can actually select the same rep at multiple steps if you want to. For some reason, say if someone's out of town, you want to give it a little bit more time for that particular agent to answer, you can do that way as well. So any questions about the admin side? Because that is basically it for right now until we add the reports analytics.
When is an incoming call?
I can't hardly hear you.
Yeah, this side is just the admin.
Yeah.
No, I think we're all clear on the admin side. If you can move on.
All right. Will do. So now for the fun part. We're going to the agent side of things. All right. So the agents have the same login screen that as the admins have, but they'll be redirected to a different portal. So I am going to go to Salesforce to make sure I'm not logged in as the admin. All right. So I'm not logged in. So this time I'm actually going to show you what it looks like if I'm not logged into Salesforce. So I'm just going to click on login. It takes me to Salesforce. It takes me to the direct Salesforce login screen. I'm going to select the rep that I want to log in with. So I'm going to select my Lantry bar rep. This is in German. Don't pay any attention to that because one of our developers is actually in Germany right now.
Let's go.
Yeah. So what happens when I log in from Salesforce, it redirects me back to the application to the reps dashboard. So what we see here is what you guys will see anytime you log into the application. You land on a activity feed for everything that you've done or everything that's happened and transpired in the application for this particular agent. One thing you should note about this is that it pulls in your rep's name, it pulls in your email address, and it also pulls in your assigned number. So this way you know what your direct number is that's been assigned to you. So I'm going to go back to the admin side to kind of show you guys what this is. So for this Lantry bar rep, I selected this number as 205 as the assigned number. So when I added the agent, I selected the area code. You guys will all have Grand Rapids area codes most likely. We decided to do this for just different testing purposes. So that's that number that comes in as the assigned number, and that has a unique use case when you guys as we get into it. So there's a few things that happens on this activity feed. First, you will see that there's a filter. The filter allows you to filter through all types of engagements from users. So you'll see all inbound, outbound, missed calls, and voicemails all lumped together here. And you can scroll down. We have it limited to 25. And after 25, it loads more. So you can kind of do this endless scroll thing and keep scrolling down until you get to where you want to. You can also see that we have the today, now, it sticks to the top of the screen, and then when it comes to yesterday, it pulls up yesterday, so you can know exactly what day you're on when you're looking at this. If I scroll back a little bit more, we did a lot of testing yesterday. See if I get to something else. Yeah, that was a lot of calls. Okay, here we go. So after yesterday, there will be dates that come as normal. So July 28th, I'll go back up to July 29th. All right. So at the very top, if you don't want to scroll through all of that, let's say, for instance, I just want to view all of my inbound calls. I can select inbound. It will filter through and show me all my inbound calls. Now, I'm going to go over this a little bit so you guys understand what all of this stuff means and what happens here. We classify what type of call it is first. So this was an inbound call. We next classify the disposition that was left. Then you see the particular prospect. And I'm going to go a little bit over this in a second. Next, you'll see the prospect's phone number, which is clickable to actually call this prospect back. Then next, you also have the playback of the call recording. So you will end up having call recordings of the actual call with prospects, and you also have voicemail calls that come into the application. On the right-hand side, again, you have the date that you will see. You have the time of the call, and then you also have the ability to add a note. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to add a note. I'm going to go lower Ipsum, just get some dummy text so I can show you guys what this looks like. All right, so here I'm just going to simply click on add a note. When I click on add a note, the screen pops up and says, hey, what is the note that you want to add? I'm just going to copy this dummy text. Now what you're going to notice is when I save this, it populates here. All right, so you'll have the ability to add notes, and these will not be gibberish notes. They will be real notes for you guys to see, and we'll be able to have that per instance. So if, for instance, if I wanted to add a note here, let's say make that a little bit different. Now the note is added here. So it gives you ability to add notes where you need to. In particular cases, you will have spoke with as well. So I'm gonna go to filter outbound calls. I think we have some spoke with fields. Maybe, no, we didn't. We'll show you this as we do a sample. Also, you have missed calls. So you can see if there was an unknown prospect that called you, you're able to call that prospect back. You can see if prospects that are already currently in your Salesforce account have called you, and you can call those people back. In addition to, you can filter through voicemails. So here we have an unknown call, unknown prospect from this particular number. You also notice that this particular voicemail has a red dot next to it. That means that voicemail has not been listened to. I'm going to actually play this voicemail to show you what happens. Testing. Now that red dot is gone, we have played this voicemail, and you can replay it at any particular point in time. But it basically lets you know that you had a unlistened to voicemail, just like a simple number phone here. As well, you can add notes here. Whatever your notes are going to be for that. Now I'm going to go back to filter all. Now, also inside of the application, you have the ability to go to individual prospects. I'm going to briefly go to this prospect and come back to this prospect. I just want to show you guys that it's interconnected and you can easily get to different parts of the application. So in this particular activity feed that you guys have, if you say, hey, okay, well, I have a voicemail from, L Bar. I want to go to that prospect. So it pulls this prospect up. It has their information. All of this information is pulled directly from Salesforce. So if you guys ever change any of this information in Salesforce, it will be dynamically pulled here. You can't edit this prospect in right now. Let's see. Let's not call me L Bar. It's just one bar. You can call me Lantry Bar. That's my real name. So now this information has been saved in Salesforce. My name is updated here, as you can see. And so I'm going to come back to this screen because I want to kind of show you guys a different way of actually getting to a prospect. So just like we had navigation on the admin dashboard, we have navigation for the agents as well. So the first one is the activity feed, where you can see globally across all your different prospects that you've engaged with, who's called in, who you have missed calls from, and things of that nature. But you also have this prospects tab, the accounts tab, and you have your own account settings. So account settings are very similar to the account settings for the admins. There's only one big difference for the agents is that you have the ability to edit your local presence. Local presence basically means that if you call a prospect, you want to call a prospect with uh, using their same area code. If you turn your local presence off and you call a prospect, you're going to call them with your assigned number. So that's the big difference for local presence. And so with local presence, as I mentioned here under the agent side, I'm an admin side, under the call flows, if the auto purchase is on, when you call a prospect and you haven't called, and no one in the system has called a prospect in a 404 area code or a 212 area code, it would automatically purchase that area code for you without you having to manually do anything. So same way here, edit, come down, you can turn your local presence on or off. Plus, check mark means that it's on. You can edit your information here, save it, and you're good to go here. So now I want to walk through prospects. So when you click on the prospects tab, you will get all of the prospects that are in Salesforce. So I'm going to walk through each section of it so you guys can understand what's going on and what's taking place. First, you have the prospects list. Right now, we have recently viewed leads as the first set. If you click on the list, you can view any list that's currently in your Salesforce. If you guys add new lists, this will automatically populate it here in the application so that your telemarketers don't have to do anything. They can select the list that they want to select and go from there. You can search. Now, what we did was we made search global across the entire prospects list. So even though you're only in recently viewed leads, any lead that you guys have inside of Salesforce will be searchable here. And to give you an example, let's do Barajas. That's one of our developers. You can see all of we actually have his number not in there for a particular reason. But you can see each prospect that you guys have in here with Barajas as the last name. You can click on these individual prospects and go to their prospect details page. So if I click on that, now I'm on David Barajas's prospect page. I can see information about him. And we'll get a little bit more into that as we go. I'm going to go back though. So you have the ability to search globally. Also, globally means that Salesforce is actually searching email addresses. So Sanchez is being shown right now, even though Barajas is not in the name. If you go to Sanchez, you'll see that his email address is actually Barajas. So that's a great way for you guys to search and see who you're looking for. Any questions about the search or prospects list? Nope. All right, silence is golden. Same way here, secondary level here, this beautiful golden bar here for your navigation. You can paginate through the list of leads, same way that you would any other pagination. You can list up to 250. So in this case, there's only 119. So I can scroll down all of these guys at once. Couple things that you'll notice is that the name is actually clickable. So anytime that you're on a prospect list, you click on the name, it directly takes you to that particular prospect. It gives you all of their information directly here within the application. You don't have to go to Salesforce for any of this information. You can edit this information here and save it, and it'll be saved in Salesforce, so you have no fear of making changes here that won't be sent to Salesforce. It works dynamically together. What else? So in this as well, we have the ability to do multi-column sorting. I don't know what type of screen you guys are on, but you may not be able to see the difference between the column headers. But right now, the name column is set to send A to Z. If I add different columns here, you'll see that this is a little darker, but I can select to also ascend by state. And then we can select a third column to sort by in alphabetical order, depending on which one. So the first column that you select is the column that will be first selected. The next column will be used secondary, and then the third column will be used at last. And that's the way of the sort there. So you guys now have that up to 3 columns. And so now what I want to do is I want to actually get into the individual prospects themselves. We'll go through the individual prospects, go to the account list, and then we'll actually do some test calls at that particular point in time. So what I want to show you guys is I want to show you my particular. I have a lead too, so I'm all in your system now. So if you see my name, just know it's me. All right. So this is my actual prospect that's in the Salesforce. Actually, let's do this. Let's do Manny. So you guys can see this. All right. So we're gonna select Manny. He's one of our developers here. So we have Manny as the prospect that we want to look at and engage with at this particular point in time. We see his current status. We see also this open in Salesforce tab. So like for instance, I need to open this in Salesforce and see it in Salesforce. The easy way, I need to log in. All right, so I'm logged in. Click on it now. It'll actually take me to Manny. So I can make changes here, or if there's some that I couldn't do within the application, I could do it here. So it gives you an easy way to get to this particular prospect. So first thing you'll notice is that you have the prospect details tab and you have recent activity tab. And we'll get into recent activity in a second. But then you also have the edit, with which we've gone through before and kind of showed you guys what that looks like. Secondary, you'll see the lead information, the details, qualification information, address, tour details, additional information, all that good stuff. So all of this is pulled in dynamically from Salesforce. So if you ever change any of this, it'll change here automatically without you having to do anything. If I want to edit this, I'm actually going to enter in one of my numbers as Manny's number when we start doing the phone calls. So I'm saving this number. Hey, guess what? Now this number up here popped up as a number. Oops. Sorry. Got ahead of myself. So I now have a number that I can call Manny on, and we're going to do some calls in a second, so I'm going to come back to that. Secondary, you have the recent activity. So if you click on recent activity, it's almost similar to the agent's activity. So I'm going to go back to the agent's activity. This agent's activity is directly related to all prospects that you've called and everyone that you've engaged with. So like in this one, you see Lantry Bar, you see missed calls, you see Manny, who I've called. Now, if I go back to Manny's prospect, looking at his recent activity, I will only see information related to Manny. So I accidentally just made an outbound call, and I left it as a no answer disposition. So in this particular setup, the name is actually the name of the rep who actually had a last call with that particular prospect. So multiple telemarketers can call the same prospect. So if you want to see the history of what's going on, you can just go to that agent's recent activity. I mean, that prospect's recent activity. So it was Lantry Bard made an outbound call. In this one, Malika Terry, it was actually an inbound call to this rep, Malika Terry. A voicemail was left. We had a missed call from Manny. He tried to call back in to the rep, Lantry Bar. And so you can follow the history of what's going on, particularly in this particular prospect. Now, you guys will add more notes in here than we will. Again, you can do the same thing here. You can add notes and more information, save it, leave good notes for your fellow telemarketers, and they'll be able to know what happened for this particular prospect. You have the same capabilities here of filtering inbound, outbound, missed calls. So if I filter the outbound calls, I'll see that here. Same thing at the bottom here. It'll load additional prospects if there's more. There's no more there. Not additional prospects, additional activity. So you'll be able to see all the activity that happens here. Any questions about prospects? This is where I feel like we might have questions.
Anybody has any?
We will eventually. I want to screen some real quick now.
No questions, Landry.
Okay, so I'm doing such a great job. There's no questions. I really like this. All right. So similar to the prospect. So we're gonna hop back on. Let me close this. We're gonna hop back on to the prospects. Where we left off on the prospects, we're gonna go to the account list. Very similar to the prospects list, we have the accounts list. Same thing as the prospects, you have the ability to search what currently is available in Salesforce. You have the ability to globally search all of the accounts. So one thing to note specifically is that the account list and the prospect list can be globally searched, but only within themselves. So you will not be able to find anyone that's in the account list in the prospect list and vice versa. Does that make sense? All right. So you have all of these accounts. It loads up all the information. I think this is actually your biggest account. So this one here has 52,000 people in it. You can go through and paginate through all this good stuff and go. You can view these these accounts similar to what you can do for the prospects. The big difference here is that the account list will not allow you to dial out at this particular point in time. We'll be adding that at a later version. We do still have their current status and the ability to open them up in Salesforce and go directly to that account. So the account list is the only one that you will not have the ability to edit as well, because right now, currently, as in your Salesforce, your admin only admins can or certain user types can edit the accounts anyway. So as a telemarketers, you guys won't be really editing these accounts, but in a future version, you'll be able to have the ability to dial out as you will in the prospects. So big difference between account lists and prospects are that the telemarketers will not be able to edit these. You will be able to view the information. In the later version, there will be a dialer. You can actually dial the account list person by looking at their phone number. And also we'll have the click the dial pieces coming in a future version. So that is that. One thing I should notice here at the bottom, the actual toolbar. So part of the toolbar is your availability status. So telemarketers have the ability to set their availability to available or on lunch. It would automatically set it to on call when you're on a call, and automatically set it to offline when you're offline. So you don't have to worry about that. And if you're already on lunch and you forget to change it back to available, if you make an outbound call, it'll automatically turn you back to available once you're done with that. So you can change your status. I can go to the admin side, see that Lance Bar Rep is on lunch. His idle time is 0 because I haven't actually I'm not actually doing anything. I'm at lunch. If I go back to available, I've been changed to available, and my idle time starts because I'm not doing anything just yet. All right. So also in the toolbar, you have the ability to add tasks. So I'm going to show you this piece. So right now, you guys can see that currently have outbound call, and I want to add a task. So we have the same ability to make a subject here. You can select what type it is, a call, a meeting, or other. You can assign it to yourself or others. And you can select the date. I'm select the 17th, and I can select save. So I'm saving. If I go back to my activity feed, I'll be able to see this sample task come up. I can set it to open and close. I can add a note to this task if I want to. I can delete this task. We'll ask you, do you want to delete this task? I'm actually going to delete it to show you guys. Delete it. Now it's been deleted. So all of these tasks will be imported into Salesforce as well. So you'll be able to set those tasks the same way. One thing I forgot to mention is that after you add a note, you can actually edit a note. So for instance, this particular subset right here for this outbound call, we have this information here. We can go here to edit and it pulls up this information. I'm just going to delete this and then save it. So it updates for you. How you guys doing today? Appreciate you for coming back. We will conclude this, start the second session off with what we left off yesterday. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna log into both the accounts. In this case, I'm gonna still use the white browser as the telemarketers browser, and I'm going to use the black browser as the admin. So I'm gonna go ahead and log into both of those accounts. All right. Just as yesterday, we land on this home screen, which is your activity feed of where it's activity you've had happen across all reps. I mean, across all prospects. So where we left off yesterday was the actual calling process. Is Andrew there today? We still want to use him as the test prop. So is Andrew in the room today?
He's here.
Yep.
All right. Well, we use him still as a test prop. So we're gonna go back to our DevOps engineer. So here, just kind of recap everything. We are now taking a look at an individual prospect view. Obviously, we can edit this individual. We can look at their prospect details, which are listed here based on the criteria that's laid out in Salesforce. And then we can also look at the recent activity for this individual prospect. So you can see an outbound call was made to this prospect by the Lantry Bar rep. There was no answer. I left notes there. We received a voicemail from this caller. They called into the rep Malika Terry and left a voicemail. You can kind of see the different things that happened. It was an inbound call to Malika Terry here. Malika Terry actually answered the call instead of an appointment. He made an inbound call to Lantry Bar rep. Lantry Bar missed the call, so you can see that missed call there. So here's again where you can kind of see all that recent activity. Now, yesterday we ran into some trouble. The server crapped out on us. Today we're going to be making a call. So we want to do two things here. First, the initial idea is to call Andrew from my particular assigned number. So again, if you go to your homepage, you can see the assigned number for the agent. This number is a 205 number. To make sure that this number is the number that I'm going to use to call Andrew, I want to go to my settings and I want to edit my account to turn off my local presence. I already had it turned off, but it allows the agent to set that to call with the direct number. So we already have that set, so I don't have to do anything there. I am going to go back to that prospect. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually click to call Andrew, and he's going to receive a call from the 205 number that is assigned to this particular rep. So Andrew, I am about to call you, and you should receive a call from a 205 number. When I click on his number, what you guys are going to see is a drop down of the call taking in place. We currently have transfer disabled. That'll be coming in a later version in a few weeks. You also notice that you have the option to book a tour for this particular prospect, and some other things that I'll kind of point out to you guys as it happens. When the call is over, you'll get a disposition that you guys have to enter in before you can do anything else in the application. While the disposition panel is open, you guys will not be able to receive any additional calls. So it still acts as if you're on a call if you have the disposition window open. So we'll walk through that process now. So Andrew, you should be receiving a call from a 205 number.
Getting it from a 404 number.
Okay. I'm gonna hang up. Wow. Well, yeah, that's a bug. Sorry about that. 1 second. Hey guys. Adam, we will have to look at that one. That one, I'm quite unsure why that came from a 404 number. However, we've made some changes to the database, so this guy's number may have been swapped during our testing. We're having our developers look at it and make sure that the numbers in Twilio are the correct numbers to the agents, because we were doing testing to our own phone numbers, so that's probably why it came from a 404 number. However, what we're going to do now is a test to actually do the local presence. So you should receive a call from a 989 number. And how you will know that'll happen is you go back to your settings, click edit. I'm going to turn my local presence on. And I'm going to save it. In the admin dashboard under call flows, we know that the auto purchase is on. We can actually go to the numbers and see if there's a 989 number. Oh, there's already a 989 number there. Well, yeah, you should still get a call from a 989 number. I was trying to do auto purchase, but you should get a call from a 989 number. Let's go back to your prospect. All right, so all I'm going to do here is click again on the number, or I can click on the button here, either or, it doesn't really matter. Start that call again. Making the outbound call to you.
I'm getting the call. It's coming from a 404 number, though.
Okay, so I know what this is. This is actually, so what's happened is that in your database, it's been stored as your default number. I'm actually going to have my developers clear the database right now. Can you clear the database of all the calls? Yes. That's done. All right, let's do that test all over again. I'm actually going to go back and turn my local presence off, and this time you should get a call from a 205 number. All right, I'm going to make that call again. Andrew, you should be receiving a call from a 205 number.
It's coming from a 205 number now.
All right, that is the correct number you're supposed to be getting called from at this particular point in time. It is the assigned number. Don't answer. We'll go through a couple different ones where you answer and don't answer. Let's go ahead and send it to voicemail.
Hi, this is Adam Weber. Sorry I missed your call. Leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Basically,
At
we
the
have
tone, please
at this
record your
particular point in
message.
time
When you finish
everything
recording, you may
recording.
hang up or press 1
I
for
wanted
more
this to
options.
record just so you guys can hear it. I'm gonna leave you a voicemail just for the fun of it, but I'm gonna hang up now. Also, well, what you can look at now is you have this book tour button. You can actually click on the book tour. It will take you to. I was logged into Salesforce. Take you to this particular prospect for the booking the tour, and you have the option of hanging up this call. So I'm gonna actually hang up the call. Now you actually see the call is ended, how long the call took place. You can still book a tour from this screen here. As I mentioned, if you look here at the bottom, it still says that you're on a call. That is because your disposition needs to be set before you can do anything else in the application. So we don't want you receiving a new call while you're trying to set your disposition. So here, if you try to complete this without setting a disposition, you can't do anything. You need to leave a disposition. So here we're going to select a no answer. We're going to say we spoke with no one. Here is where we complete the actual call. Now, what we're doing is we're recording everything. So you will get recordings of inbound, outbound calls. In this case, we made an outbound call to Andrew, and right now this is the outbound call by this particular rep. We spoke with no one. We can add a note. You can say blah blah. That note will come there. We can play back the recording of the call.
Hi, this is Adam Weber. Sorry I missed your call. Leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
And I said this was Andrew's phone, but obviously this is Adam's phone. So here you have this. You can scrub through the call, play it from any particular point in time. You can turn up and down the volume of the particular call. So depending on where you are.
I'm hanging up this call. So I'm going to actually hang up the call.
All right. Here's my lovely voice once again. So in this case, again, my local presence is turned off. So when I called Adam, the number came from this 205 number. So there's a couple things to note. When a prospect actually answers a call, and you guys leave a disposition other than no answer or left voicemail, the number that the person answered, that the prospect answered with, will be that default number that any agent will call with. So if Adam had to answer this phone call, and we had a conversation with him, if Tahira called or Manny called or Andrew called or any of you guys who are telemarketers on your side called, the number that would show up for that particular prospect would always be the 205 number. So that is stored as what's called a default number for that prospect. That way that they can store it as a number that they can call back with. One also great thing is that any number that is in the system for the telemarketers, if any prospect has that number, if it's outside of the 1-800 number that you guys have, it will go back to the last agent who called that prospect. It doesn't matter if they're calling the 205 number, the 678 number, or the 404 phantom number that was originally calling Adam. That will be the number. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to that prospect. I'm actually going to change the name so that it's actually the right name. And this time, I'm going to turn on my local presence by going to my settings, editing my local presence and turning that local presence on. I'm going to save that. I'm going to go back to this prospect, and now I'm going to click back on this prospect, and Adam will be receiving a call from a 989 in the phone number.
Number.
All right. So basically, this is the local presence number. I'm going to hang up. So in this respect, I'm going to do something a little different. So there's this 989 number here, and it's the 9454 number. I'm going to actually show you guys a cycling of numbers. So I'm going to go into the admin dashboard and I'm going to add another 989 number. So that way we have two numbers that we can cycle through. So this one, I'm going to pick this 2090 number, select next. This is going to add this number to the number pool. So now if I go to 989, I have two 989 numbers in the number pool. What's going to happen now is I'm going to call Adam once again, and he should, he's either going to receive a call from the 9454 number or the 2090 number. And once that happens, it's going to start cycling back and forth. So I'll give you guys a couple of examples of that. So I'll make a couple quick calls. I said 95. That's his number. It's the it's one of these two numbers, the 4507 or the 2090. What number are you getting a call from, Adam?
2090.
All right. So I'm gonna hang up, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set that to no answer again, and I'm gonna call him right back because I'm gonna be an annoying telemarketer today. He should be receiving. All right. So he's receiving the cycle of numbers. If there was a fourth number or a third number in that cycle, it would be another number. I'm just going to do another test for you guys, show you that he will be receiving a call from the 2090 number now for this third call.
2090.
All right. So that is completely cycling through the list of available local presence numbers. If I was to add, 2, 3, 4, 10 different numbers here for this 989 number, he would go through that entire cycle. Once the prospect answers on any of these numbers, that number will be locked in as his default callback with number. So even if you cycle through all of these numbers, if there's 10 numbers there, when this prospect answers with the 2090 number, even though there's still 10 other numbers starting with 989, whenever any telemarketer calls back, Adam Weber, he will always get called back with this 2090 number. Any questions about that?
So if it's say someone answers the phone and they're not home right now, and then they try and call again, that is going to still be the default number unless we change it?
So you guys won't have the ability to change the default number yourselves, but yes, if you originally talked to a prospect and they answer the first time you have a conversation with them and you leave a disposition other than no answer or left voicemail, the next time you call back to that person, you will always call them back with the exact same number.
Well, what if it's a no answer?
If it's a no answer, it'll continue to cycle.
Okay.
So Adam, call either of those numbers that just called you. You can call the 205 number, you can call the 2090 number, or the 4507 number. So now I'm getting an incoming call from Adam. I'm gonna actually decline this because I don't want to talk to him right now. Pick another number inside of those numbers and call me back. All right, so now I'm receiving another call. He's picked another number to call me back from. I'm going to decline that one as well. Now, Adam, do me a favor and call this 540 318 1600. Now, this number has not called Adam whatsoever, but it's a number in your number pool. And what the system will do, no matter what number that this prospect calls from, is going to send it back to this agent that last called this prospect. Did you get the number, Adam?
Would you read it again?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's 540 318 1600. as well. You see that I'm now getting the call in from Adam, no matter what phone I call on. So I'm gonna go ahead and decline him once again. Now, at this particular point in time, this prospect has been called by a agent. He's tried to return the phone call back. I've declined the call, and there's no locked-in default number at this particular point in time for this agent. I mean, for this prospect. So now what I'm going to do is, Adam, I'm going to call you once again. You can answer the phone this time, and what I'm going to do is we'll chat for a second, and then we'll hang up. What's going to happen next is we're going to demonstrate that as a agent, I'm going to turn off my local presence and set it to my default number, and you're still going to be called back with your default number that we answered the call with. So let's call you here. So you're going to answer this call, Adam. Hello, Adam. This is Outdoor Adventures. Would you like to come to one of our resorts? Was that good? All right, we're gonna hang this one up. So I'm gonna set as a let's see us. We set an appointment. We spoke with Adam. All right, I'm booking deals over here, guys. Let's go. So now I'm going to go to my recent activity. We see I made an outbound call. We set an appointment. We see that I spoke with Adam. I'm going to leave a note. It was a great call. All right. We can go back and listen to the call and listen to how wonderful it was. Hello, Adam. This is Outdoor Adventures. Would you like to come to one of our resorts? I love that. I think I'm going to use it on my my ringtone. All right. So, Adam, what number was it that you answered with that called you last?
It's 4507.
All right. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to have can you log in as Malika Terry? I'm going to have a separate agent call Adam. I'm also going to first turn off my local presence. So again, when you turn off your local presence, it's supposed to call you with the 205 number. Yeah, give it to me. I'll do it. Yeah. I'll do that in a second. All right, so we have the 205 number. I'm going to save that. Now, if I was to call any other prospect, this is the number that would show up for me when I call that prospect. But since I've already talked to Adam, I'm going to call him back, and it's going to come up with the 4507 number that's going to be calling him.
$4507.
Correct. All right, I'm going to hang up. I don't need to talk to him at this particular point in time. Now, I'm going to call from a different rep, so you guys aren't going to be able to see this on the screen, but I'm going to log in as another rep. Give me a second to actually log into that account. Now I'm logged in as Malika Terry. Now I want to show you guys this in the activity log. You see that this is the rep that called Adam. It was no answer. I am logged in as Malika Terry, and I'm going to make an outbound call to Adam. So let me find him in the database. All right, I'm calling from a separate computer, Adam, and a separate agent.
It's 4507 number.
As it should be. Now I'm going to hang that call up, and you guys couldn't really see that and engage with that because I'm on a separate computer. But what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to go back to the recent activity, and you can see that, hey, Malika Terry made an outbound call to Adam at 2:01. So here we're tracking each individual rep that is calling this particular prospect. What type of interaction was it? Was it an inbound, outbound call? So Adam, do me a favor, make a let me call you back as Lantry, and then you can hang up that, and then you can just hang that up when you want to.
Hi, this is Adam Weber. Sorry.
All right, so now I want to let Adam actually call back and leave a voicemail to this particular agent. So I'm going to decline your call and just go ahead and leave a quick voicemail, and I'll show you everyone this.
It's Adam. Let me call back.
All right. Now I'm going to go back to this recent activity. Guess what? I have a voicemail from Adam. The voicemail was left for Rep Lantry Barr. This was the incoming call number. And I can now listen to this voicemail. First off, you would notice that the red dot is here for the voicemail, symbolizing that it has not been listened to. Now I'm going to listen to the voicemail.
Hey, Lantry, it's Adam. Give me a call back.
All right, seamless and sure. So now I can say, hey, I can call back. Call him back later. I'm busy. All right. Now, so in essence, that is the basically outbound call flow for you guys. Again, you have all these capabilities in terms of filtering, making the inbound, outbound calls. You can see the missed calls. Now, if Adam is to call me back again, Adam, I'm gonna go to lunch. Well, actually, no, because you would leave a voicemail. Go ahead and call me back, and then I'm not gonna answer the call, and it's just gonna ring, and it's gonna show a missed call. Now, Adam, we have the default timeout set at 60 seconds. Let us know if we should do anything separate. So it's going to take this about 60 seconds to go through until it actually sends you to the voicemail. All right, you don't leave a voicemail, Adam. Just go ahead and hang up. All right, I heard someone said they had a question. As you can see, I have a missed call that happened at 2:04 from Adam to this particular rep. I will field the question of the young lady.
Oh, okay, so, who's talking?
You are.
All right, so they answer, you set the appointment, they don't show up. They're not gonna answer that same number again if they don't wanna come, so how do we switch that?
Well,
That's when they don't answer is when you try to call them back.
so at this particular point in time, based off of what we discussed with Adam and Andrew during the discovery phase, we never looked at that particular scenario. So if you ever set an appointment and they didn't answer or they didn't show up, we assumed that if they had already answered the call and set an appointment, that they would answer the same number. That person,
Never.
oh, so what happened?
Have you never done telemarketing?
Like, oh, we'll call you back. Same number calls them, they never answer. That's when we turn our local presence off and then they will answer because it's a different number. But if that one's locked in.
Okay, so well, we can build that functionality in Adam. We can talk about that offline. But what we could do is we could set that to, like, if you turn your local presence off, then that will be the number that's called regardless of if you have a default number or not. So let's talk about that, Adam, because we definitely didn't design it for that in particular. And no guys, we're not telemarketers.
Never.
Any other questions or concerns or points of that nature?
That's all. Myself as a 410 straight for our Mother's Day.
I think we're good, Lance.
Okay. All right. So Adam, we can talk about that offline. In general, that's the application in a whole. Does anybody have any questions about the user interface and how it works? What are your guys' take on the looks and feel of it? We would like your feedback.
I got a question, like, so, because if they miss their appointment and they're not going to answer that call, that's wrong. If we turn our local presence off, will it be a whole new number that tries to call them?
No, that's what the young lady just said. So we're going to talk to Adam about that and let that be the setup.
Do it. Just word it different.
If we dial to our actual phone, like on our desk, it'll ring a different number, right? If we dial with the phone on our desk, it'll ring a different number. Right? We can dial their phone number back into the phone. Like push 811.
We'll get to that as we go. But yeah. There'll be different numbers we're going to be able to use.
What is like that? Where do you go to actually see like our leads?
Yeah.
Like the new leads?
So your leads, you would go to this prospect tab. Under the prospect list, it has your leads here. So you can select from any of these lists to view your leads.
Oh, we have to open the lead to be able to follow. We don't can't click on the number.
I didn't hear that question.
Someone down there.
What did you say?
Like there's no number to just click on. We have to open every lead now.
You have to open every lead.
Yeah, can we get one person to talk and ask the question?
In your prospecting list, can we get that to put up the phone number in there so they don't initially have to go on each lead before they call it?
Yes, we can if it's part of that prospect leads list. So these are being pulled in dynamically from Salesforce. So this particular list view does not actually show the phone number. So we can look into that. Put it as a note. For Adam, we need to talk to Adam about that one. So basically, they want to see like right here, like right now, like if you go to the accounts list, they have the phone number right here, but on the prospect list, they don't have that column. So that will be a column that Adam, I think you guys will have to activate on from within Salesforce that show up here, because each one of these prospect lists have different columns. That one actually doesn't. I don't have any qualified leads. Each one of them has different columns based on how you guys have had it set up in Salesforce. Let's see. I don't have any of my stuff. Let's see. These leads are a little bit different, and then let's see. The legacy leads are a little bit different. I think Facebook is different. No, we don't have anything there. So Adam, we'll talk about that one. Here's one where this particular set is different, and you can scroll left to right, but it has to be activated on the Salesforce side for that particular list for us to get it there. These are good, guys. Do you have any additional ones?
I see it last page.
All right, Landry, I think we're all set.
Okay. All right. So inbound calls are going to work a little bit differently, and they're going to go through the call flow, but those will be demonstrated to you guys in a week or so. Other than that, from an outbound call perspective, you guys are good to go. So Adam, I'll go ahead and add you guys to the admin dashboard. and that way you guys can start adding some of your agents in that you want to start, using the system to test it and do some calls on it. We'll go from there.